Mr. Nguyen. Are we ready? Has the meeting been posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Proceeding with the acceptance of the meeting minutes for November the 29th, 2018.
Move approval.
Moved by Commissioner McCarthy, seconded by Commissioner Howell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. First item.
Proceeding with number one, we have applications for special one-day license to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines only, or either one, starting with Cynthia Kunzler of Four Oaks Country Club, Inc., for an event at the Middlesex Community College Rialto Building, 240 Central Street. This is a holiday movie showing for Saturday, December 15, 2018, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Ms. Counselor? We're going to bring other people up to join you, maybe.
Would you like Ashley Roper as well?
Yes.
Also, we have first for License Commission ratification is the issuance of a license to Ashley Roper, catering manager of Aramark, for an event that's now ongoing at Mechanical Engineering Holiday Party for Thursday, December 13th, 2018, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. I apologize to the members of the commission. I haven't listed the venue for that event. Maybe Ashley can tell us.
This is at Allen House, 2 Solomon Way.
Proceeding also, she has an application for the Chancellor's Holiday Party for Friday, December the 14th, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Same location?
No, this is at University Crossing on 220 Pawtucket Street.
Okay. So both of you introduce yourselves with your name and your address, please.
Cindy Kunzler, 27 Westview Farm Road, Drake, Mass.
Ashley?
I'm Ashley Roper. I'm over at the Tsongas Center, 300 Martin Luther King Jr. Way.
Okay. Have either of you ladies had a license before?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. You know what your responsibilities are.
absolutely.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Proceeding with number two, we have the application by the licensee CEC Entertainment, Inc., doing business as Chuck E. Cheese, a malt beverage wine restaurant licensee at 199 Plain Street, Unit 5, for the change of its manager of record to Caitlin Fisher of Nashua, New Hampshire.
Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Caitlin Fisher, 6 Emerald Drive, Nashua, New Hampshire.
And you'll be replacing who?
Brad. I don't remember his last name.
Okay.
Balboni?
No, that's Mike Balboni. He was a manager before, too.
So, how long have you worked at Chuck E. Cheese?
I've been with the company 12 years,
And at the Lowell location?
a month.
Okay. You have background in this area.
I do.
You're tip certified.
I am.
Anybody have any questions?
Move approval.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of Ms. Fisher as the manager of record, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. You're the manager. Congratulations. Do good.
Proceeding with number three, we have an application by the Social Club of Pawtucketville, Lowell, Massachusetts, Raymond Beaudry, treasurer, the all-alcoholic beverages club licensee at 123 University Avenue, for change of manager to Judy Wheeler of Pelham, New Hampshire, and for change of club officers and directors.
Please introduce yourselves.
Judy Wheeler.
Raymond Beaudry.
And you're from both. Judy, where you from?
Pelham, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Drake, Mass.
So, I just want to make sure I have this straight. Ms. Wheeler, you're going to be the manager.
Yes,
You have experience as a manager?
I do. I was the general manager for the Lawrence Andover Elks from 2001 to 2006.
You tip certified?
Yes,
And we're going to change officers, is that right, Mr. Boudry?
Yes, we have, and we file all the necessary paperwork to the Secretary of State and to the ABC.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next meeting agenda item is the number 4, the application by the Lowell Lodge of Elks, Paul B. Bolio, Director, the All Alcoholic Beverages Club licensee at 40 Old Ferry Road, for change of manager to Paul R. Bolio of Drake, Mass., and a change of club officers and directors.
Hi, it's
Name
actually,
and
it's actually
address?
Paul B. Bolio that'll be changing to, not Paul R. It's Paul B. Just for a
Okay.
correction on the paperwork, sir.
Yeah, we'll go with the
Paul
first
Bryan,
name.
yes, sir. And that is me, Paul Bryan Bolio, 124 Tennis Plaza Road, Drake, Mass.
Tell us about your background, Paul.
Well, I'm a 3-time exalted ruler at the Elks. I'm on the board of directors. I'm currently the chairman of the House Committee, which runs the bar. I have been a past bar manager there, interim, and I've been with the association there for 12 years now, so.
So you've, were an interim manager. Did you have any other manager experience?
Well, I run my own company, so, I mean, I know what it takes to to be a manager. I run my own business.
Are you tip certified?
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, Mr. Paul B. Bolio.
Thank you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Go out
Young
and
lady.
be careful.
Where should I have that for you first thing in the morning, sir?
3rd floor law office,
3rd floor law office. What time?
anytime between 8 a.m. and 12 noon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
Proceeding with next item, number 5, we have the application by the Holy Ghost Society, doing business as Holy Ghost Society, Elizabeth Candido Clerk, All Alcoholic Beverages Club licensee at 65 Village Street, for change of manager to Louis R. Silveria of Lowell, Mass., and also change of club officers and directors.
Your name and address, sir.
Louis Silvera, 84 Empress Drive in Lowell, Mass. 09854.
Have you had previous experience managing a,
Yes.
tell us about it.
I've been with the Holy Ghost since 2011. I've been working on the bar off and on since then until present.
Are you tip certified?
Yes, sir.
You understand your responsibilities here.
Yes, sir.
All right, anybody?
Move approval.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Sir, you're approved.
Thank you, sir. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Proceeding with number 6, we have the application by the state license holder Aaron App Sellers LLC, Noel A. Powell, manager of a farmer winery, for a license to sell wine at a farmer's market at the premises of 250 Jackson Street, Mill Number 5, the 4th and 5th floors, for Sundays commencing January 6th through June 30th, 2019, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Name and an address, sir.
Noel Powell, 28 Carlisle Road, Westford, Massachusetts.
I see. You need 2 floors to sell your wine?
Well, the market expanded from the 4th floor. They're now doing it on both the 4th and the 5th floors. So we kind of go where we get assigned each week.
Makes sense. So, have you done this in the past?
Yes, we have. We've been we've been part of the farmer's market at the mill for at least 3 years.
Okay.
Had him here before.
So you've been trained in this business?
Yes, I
Tip
have.
certified?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody?
It's an interesting story. Actually, my wife and I spoke to you about, you started it in your home.
Yes.
And it's grown
Yeah, we operate out of the basement of our home in Westford.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
So now he needs two
Mr.
floors.
Powell, congratulations.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Good luck.
Next item is the application by Dan Clapp, doing business as 1634 Meadery, a farmer winery for the Massachusetts Alcohol Beverages Control Commission, for a license to sell wine at Lowell Winters Farmers Market at the premises of 250 Jackson Street, Mill Number 5, 4th floor, Sundays commencing December 23rd, 2018 through March 17th, 2019, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., up to twice per month.
Name and address, sir.
Dan Clapp, 1634 Meadery, 3 Short Street in Ipswich, Massachusetts.
And what's so important about 1634?
It happens to be the year that Ipswich was incorporated, so instead of the Ipswich Meadery, we're the 1634 Meadery.
And you've been to tips training on this?
That's correct, yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Move approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. You've been approved, Mr. Clapp.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Members of the commission, number 8 on our meeting agenda, we have for 2019 renewal applications filed in the month of November for the 2 licensed hotels in the city of Lowell. There are a number of restaurants, approximately 64 of all alcoholic license, plus there's approximately 12 to 13 beer and wine restaurant licensees. There are 18 club licensees, all alcoholic beverages, and for package stores, we have 22 all alcoholic and 22 beer and wine retail stores. I forwarded to the commission an Excel file with the listing of all of the renewals done in a timely way. There was only 1 license holder currently who chose not to renew for 2019.
Okay.
If I may proceed with number 9 on the backside of our meeting agenda. We have the License Commission hearings for the following 2018 license holders who filed timely renewal in the month of November 2018, but the premises are closed or operating 1 calendar day a week. Is there a representative here for Lowell Steakhouse? There should be somebody coming shortly. I was speaking to an attorney representing Lowell Steakhouse before around 5 o'clock, and I expect they'll be here shortly. Representative for Louis Lowell LLC, doing business as Louis, 11 Kearney Square, Jonathan Joe, manager, restaurant, all alcoholic.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioner Krieg, if I may, Mr. Joe closed the restaurant and did not notify the License Commission office, but did file a timely renewal in the month of November.
Give us your name and address.
My name is Jonathan Jew, 86 Los Angeles, Newton, Mass. 02458.
Are you planning on being in business in 2019 or not?
So we had originally planned to, when we filed the renewal license, we had found a manager to take over the operations for the restaurant, but they stepped down from that position, so we would like to withdraw the renewal application.
So you're going out of business?
Yes.
Sorry to hear that. All right, you want to withdraw?
If that's okay.
You got that? Jonathan, I'm sorry to hear this, but thank you very much for coming here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Proceeding with our next license holder, the entity is known as MBOA Alliance LLC, 135 Central Street, Stanley Tabby, manager, restaurant, all alcoholic beverages. Business, members of the commission, the original license was granted in April of 2017. To date, the license holder has never been issued the license. Renewed in 2017 for 2018, and it's been over 12 months, and there's no activity or interest or shown interest in operating a business at 135 Central Street. Mr. Tybee is here now to speak to the board.
Your name and address, sir?
Stanley Tubby, 269 Oakland Ave, Methuen, Mass.
And what's the story with MBOA?
So essentially, we engage in the remodeling of the premises. We face some financial challenges, tried to reach out to a few lenders, and ultimately got some funding, seed funding from the Lowell Development Financial Corporation. So we're currently undergoing the actual work. We've done some HVAC work, electrical work, plumbing, amounting to a substantial capital investment. But we're hoping to reopen sometime this March, effectively.
So you still want a license?
That's correct.
Members of the commission, if I could just offer a recommendation. It's been, like I noted, over 12 months. It's also possible that Mr. Tabby and his business partner could file application for a new license after the first of the year when circumstances financially and the construction phase commence, and the commission can then readdress the issue at a later date. Otherwise, it's only speculation, I believe, at this point that he's going to open in March.
If he applies in March, does he get a prorated license?
The alcohol license fees are not prorated. Fact of the matter, Commissioner Krieger, he's never paid a license fee. He's never paid for certificate of liquor liability policy. He's never had a certificate of inspection.
Anybody have any thoughts on this?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Ryan, he has never paid any money for the license? He applied.
It wouldn't be payable till upon issuance. Until I wouldn't be able to issue a license until the license holder, any license holder, has a certificate of inspection, which is signed off by the fire chief, building commissioner, and building inspector. That's a matter of fact, it has to be. Then it has to have liquor liability policy for the city to be co-insured, and certificate holder is the license commission. So there's documents for license holder are required in order for a license to be issued and to pay the license fee.
So the fact of the matter is, he's in the same standing right now as if he came back in March and reapplied with all the proper permits.
So the point of the renewal is he's operating the business, he's open for business. He noted in his renewal application, as he noted just now, that he anticipated opening in February or March. But this will be the second time he's this is the second renewal he's filing that a license still has not been issued. So with all of the fact that the LLC, I checked the Secretary of State's website for the LLC, it is still in good standing. Mr. Tybee and his business partners in the original application are still listed as the latest annual report of condition filed with the Secretary of State for the LLC. But I know in the past the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission would frown upon a pocket license. This is what would be considered a pocket license.
So could we ask him to come back in February to talk to you to apply for a license?
For a new license,
If he's gonna open up in March?
we do have available licenses to apply for. Now, have you been paying a lease with the landlord?
Yes.
For every month you've?
Yes. We have been for the past close to 2 years now. And still currently doing the remodeling and upgrades to get the building up to code.
What type of remodeling are you doing?
So essentially, when we took over the premises, there were lots of issues that were cited by the city of Lowell. The previous owner had lots of violations, plumbing, electrical, alarm fire alarm codes and everything. So we were basically just taking over, liabilities from the previous owners. But we've tremendously done a substantial amount of work in terms of trying to address those concerns. And we, have invested quite a bit over the cost of about $150,000 of our own money.
Are you doing any remodeling that involves structural changes?
Not necessarily. We're doing mostly, well, part of it too is structural, like tearing down the walls and, rebuilding. But to say structural, I would think you're talking like tearing down walls and that kind of stuff. That's not necessarily what we're doing. But we're doing from like the basic flooring, ceiling, the walls, sandpapering, sheetrocking, and all that stuff. But the most part of the work was heavily embedded in plumbing. The previous owner essentially had no plumbing done on the premises. So when we signed the lease, we inevitably thought, plumbing was on site until when we came in, got the license, and then went back and now realized that there was a substantial amount of work to be done. That's what caused the delay.
Secretary Nguyen, I'm concerned about the issue of the pocket license as well. So I'd like to make a motion that this gentleman come back when he's ready to open and file, and we'll issue a license if everything's in order.
So you're suggesting that the renewal be approved, and then he just return to the License Commission when he's ready to open?
Yes.
Seconded.
Before we go on, how can it be a renewal if no license has been issued for 2018?
I'm sorry, did you ask?
Yes. How can it be a renewal if there was no license issued in 2018?
That's for the License Commission to determine. Your discretion in these matters is, basically you have the right to deny the renewal, for he never took the license.
I see.
I mean,
Can you restate your motion, please?
Motion to renew the license and have the gentleman come back and file for a license when he's ready to open.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved in second.
Discussion?
Discussion.
The motion is to approve the license now for 2019, but
To renew it.
to renew it, but hold it until he comes back before the board?
Secretary Nguyen.
so
that work?
if the commission is so inclined to approve the renewal, then I would ask if you would consider the motion to be amended such that Mr. Tabby return to the License Commission at the first scheduled meeting in March to provide you with a status report if the license between now and March of the first meeting, he has not taken it by compliance with the guidelines, certificate of inspection, certificate of liquor liability, and the payment of the license fee. So if it's possible that he can open a business between now and, say, the end of February, and I issue the license, then any reason for him to come before the License Commission in March is moot, because he has the license he's opening. But if he hasn't opened by the end of February, then I would ask that the first scheduled meeting in March, Mr. Tabby appear before you and answer to what's going on. to
All right,
whatever
do
you
we all
feel.
understand that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 All
Aye.
opposed? All right, Mr. Tabby.
Yes, sir.
Good luck in your construction work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
And
very
good
much.
luck in getting your license.
Thank you.
And you understand, we expect to see you back here in March.
That's correct. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Good luck. Thank you.
We have also Members of the commission, Vanna Can, who is the licensee of record for The Crown at 74 Middlesex Street. Vanna Can is the manager of record. It's a restaurant, all alcoholic beverage. What was my understanding, that the business was only open one calendar day a week. I just spoke with Mr. Can before the meeting convened. I think he may have rational explanation for why the business had been closed.
Name and address, sir.
Good evening, ma'am, sirs. Vanakans, 16 Redgate Road, Drake, Mass. 01826.
And what's the story on your operation?
I have a health issue. It's been 3 years. I lost three members of my family. 2016, I lost my father-in-law. 17, I lost my mother-in-law. And this year, I lost my sister-in-law to cancer. And in April, I got admitted to the emergency room. The diagnosis came out as the anxiety attacks. And since then, I have an issue with breathing. So I kind of take time off. I know it's my fault. I should have notified Mr. Secretary, but I did not.
Do you intend to be operating this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. And how many days a week are you planning on operating?
It's still on a weekend, but I still want to restore a 7-day license because I plan to have the Peruvian cuisine restaurant because the new courthouse is going to open. I want to take that advantage. And there's no Peruvian restaurant here in the city of Lowell, and I intend to get the chef for that.
So when will you be doing this?
I'm sorry, sir?
At what time will you be doing this? What date will you be doing this?
For the restaurant, I have not found a chef yet, but my intention is to get one of the Peruvian chef to offer Peruvian restaurant during the daytime and running the club on a weekend.
Are you open now 1 day a week?
Yes, sir.
Is that Saturday only?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
If I might, Captain, how have things been going with the Crown with the one-day openings?
We haven't had any problems or reports of any
Because
incidents.
at one time, the police were more familiar with the Crown.
Yes, since it's been 1 day a week operation, it's quieted down quite
Things are
substantially.
much better.
Yes, operation seems to be running much better.
And we also, because we take time off, I take time off to take care of myself at the same time that the other club that have problem, they haven't opened. I don't want that crowd to come to my place, and in a way, it's working out well.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't see a need for anything.
Oh, good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good night.
So the renewal is approved?
Yeah.
You want a motion?
If you're so inclined, that's be nice.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve it for the next year based on the representations of the owner.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Have a great
Opposed?
evening.
No?
Thank you.
Thank you. You've got it.
Good luck.
And you too, Mr. Nguyen.
Commissioner Krieger, members of the commission, I'd like the board to revisit the first matter to do with the Lowell Steakhouse, Inc., doing business as Bob's Bar and Grill, 490 Central Street, Robes Barbosa manager, restaurant, all alcoholic beverages. Restaurant has been closed. We do have Lowell Fire Department Fire Prevention Inspector Walter Humphrey here as well to offer some insight on recent inspections of the establishment.
Hi,
Name and address, sir.
Robs Barbosa, and at this moment I live in New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, North Jersey.
Yeah, 360 New York Avenue, Newark, New Jersey.
So what's the story on your operation?
Well, at the restaurant has been operating since 2016, and we've been here. The restaurant went well. But the beginning of this year, I had some family issues on my wife's side. So I moved to New Jersey, got my kids in school, closed the restaurant for 3 months from February, I think March and April, I closed the restaurant. And I didn't notify Mr. Nguyen or the secretary. Yes, I closed it for a while, just because I had to move all the family over to New Jersey. But then for this period of time, I was coming over here twice a week. The restaurant, after this, the 3 months closed, we reopened the restaurant. So it's been open and operating. And then there came a time that I hired an assistant, because I was coming twice a week to New Jersey, from New Jersey to Lowell. So then, I had to speak with Ryan, Mr. Ryan, and at this moment, we're going to add my assistant to the license. And half an hour ago, I just spoke with my wife, and because I have a lot of investment in the Lowell Steakhouse, my wife with the property, and I with the restaurant, so we invest a lot of money, so I cannot put that in jeopardy. So I definitely have to move back right away. So that's the situation now.
Hey, Mr. Nguyen, you have something from the fire department?
Well, Fire Inspector Walter Humphrey is now here. In the situation as it was presented to me recently, in recent weeks.
Let's let him state his case. Can you approach, sir? Give us your name and...
Yes, sir. My name is firefighter Walter Humphrey. I've been...
We're on television.
Okay. I'm new to the department with this, doing liquor license inspections, and I've been doing it for the last couple of months now. And when I first approached the Cabanas Grill, or what is it?
Lowell Steakhouse.
Lowell Steakhouse. There's a different sign on the building, but went there about 3 months ago, the end of September. I believe it was actually 9/27. I was out there. Mr. Barboza was not there. There was someone else there. According to the liquor license inspection checkoff list that we have that we use for the fire department, there was a few violations in order. I had talked with the person that was there at the time, explained to him to get them done, came back 2.5 months later, nothing was done, found more violations that I actually missed the first time. And the occupancy upstairs had numerous curtains that weren't fire protection, no fire rating on them whatsoever, no certificates, fire escape. The secondary egress upstairs was inoperable, so in the event of an emergency, no one could get out from upstairs unless they came up the way they went in. I went back with Building Inspector Negron. He closed the establishment for life safety issues, and at that time, we had explained to Mr. Barboza not to remove the tag from that window. And that was on, I have it on the email, last Thursday. And then I went back by again this Monday, and they had removed the red tag from the window. It was not there. And here I am today stating the fact that they did bring up to date their violations. The hood's been inspected, the fire alarm is now in proper working order. They did fix the fire escape issue, and they did fix the rear egress. So they did correct all the deficiencies. But it's just been a lot of going back and forth, and I know that he had just explained it now, that he wasn't present the first couple times I had went by there over the course of the last 2 months. So that's all I have.
Can we explain why the red tag went away?
It fell. If I say different, it's not different. It fell off because it was stuck on the thing, and I had a girl cleaning. We're doing the cleaning with this week that we closed. We've been doing the cleaning. So the girl was cleaning the windows and cleaning everything, and somehow she removed, she glued it back, was on a water stick, and fell off. It did fall. It did fall. It's right over there. To be honest with you, it's right over there now, but it fell.
So the second floor is a dining room?
The second floor, yeah, it's a bar area, function area, And we open on Friday and Saturdays for music and then.
What about the curtains? Did they get replaced?
They removed them.
The curtains, I explained to me, it was a bad thing. The curtain was our fault because it was a party, and they decorated the whole dining room, and then we're missing this curtain. One curtain was missing, and it doesn't belong to us. It belonged to the people that decorated for the party. For one party, it was a birthday, I think. Yeah, and we never removed the curtain.
You're the manager of record.
Yes.
So everything is up to date now as far as the fire
Everything is
department?
done up to date. The only thing is the matter now is me moving back.
Thank you. Good job.
Anybody else?
Sorry about
Well, are you going to be here now managing the?
that. I have to, because it's my investment. It's the real estate plus the restaurant, it's my investment. I moved because my family, side of my wife has issues, and I had to move my wife from here to New Jersey. But all my investment is over here in Lowell.
Plus, it's North Jersey. He's escaping.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Of the inspector. Will you be going back there
Yes, sir.
in the next month or two to?
Probably within the next week, if everything goes forward from there.
Okay. And you're satisfied as of now?
Yes.
With everything? Thank you. And Mr. Barboza, you're moving back and you'll have an address in Lowell or right around Lowell?
Yes, yeah, I have part of my family lives in Lowell as well for maybe 25 years, so we've been here.
Yep.
So I am moving back.
And we'll be able to find you, or the inspector will be able to find you close by in the
100%.
future?
Yes, yes. Also, due to the situation that I had my assistant manager running the place the couple of times that I wasn't here, I'm going to add him to the license, so it'll be appropriate for him to run the place correct.
It's a good idea.
And it's all my fault. I'm very sorry what happened, and I say sorry for Mr. Nguyen, because I have the property, I have the restaurant, and I should not have done what I did, but I cannot go back and fix it, but I'll fix from now on.
Anybody else? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Okey dokey.
Proceeding with number 10 on our meeting agenda, the matter of a hearing on the testimony of Donald Sterling of 8 Wamasett Court, presented to the License Commission on the last scheduled meeting, November 29, 2018, regarding the towing of motor vehicles to the open lot at 705 Dutton Street, property of Kazanjian Used Parts, Inc., Alan W. Kazanjian, President, a junk dealer licensee, and the blocking of the private driveway of 8 Wamasett Court, the abutting property by the owners of towed vehicles.
Mr. Sterling here? Yes. Say what you got to say, please. Public hearing.
Hi, Donald Sterling, 8 Wamasett Court. I have a CD here I'd like for you guys to all view.
Did you bring a machine?
No, I didn't. So we have no way to view this? Can we schedule for another meeting? Otherwise, I got to show you Polaroids, and I know you weren't interested in that.
Well, yeah.
Well, the other side,
Before
Mr.
we start-
Kazanjian's
before we
here,
start-
so.
Before we start, give us your name and address.
Donald Sterling, 8 Wamasett Court.
Thank you. And Mr. Kazanjian's here.
Yes.
Sir, can you approach, please? Yes. Your name and address.
Alan Kazanjian, 11 Brianna Way, Draycott. I'm the owner of Kazanjian's Used Parts at 705 Dutton Street.
Okay, let's see if we can do this without having to do a CD and without having to reschedule this.
Okay,
So,
great.
Mr. Sterling, what is it? Restate your complaint.
I have numerous complaints. Mr. Kazanjian doesn't follow the rules of his licensing, and the police towing there is just a nightmare. And I try to show my pictures and stuff to the police, and they tell me that this is a city issue. I need to come before the licensing board. So the police haven't seen any photographs either.
So exactly what is the problem?
Constant blocking of my driveway.
Do you have a photograph that shows where your driveway is?
And he's also running equipment
Let me finish
through.
my question. Do you have a photograph that shows where your house and driveway is in adjacent to Mr. Kazanjian's property?
We're right next to each
Because
other.
I drove by there today.
Right next to each other.
Okay, do you have a photograph that shows that?
No, I don't have anything out from the street view of it. The police have told us not to go out in the street and take pictures anymore, so we stopped doing that. We take
Well, I
pictures
took a
from
bunch of-
inside.
Wait a second. The police have told him he can't go out on the street and take photographs?
Yeah, they tell us to call them, and then they come and they tell us to come here.
Mr. Sterling called me approximately a week ago regarding the parking problem. And I spoke to him personally. I notified the dispatcher to send a car to check on that. I didn't hear back from Mr. Sterling since then, and I assumed that whatever problem may have occurred that day was resolved by the officer who responded.
So my understanding is you can record the police, you can't record the street?
You're allowed to take pictures in a public place. You can take pictures of cars, houses, as long as you're on a public place and not on private property. For example, real estate agents can come out and take pictures of your house, your driveway, as long as you're in a public place, such as a sidewalk or street.
That's good, because I drove by today and I took a bunch of pictures from my car, so I was okay.
Yes, it's correct. And as you stated, Mr. Chairman, there was a recent decision on being able to record, photograph public officials, including police and others, and actually do it in a separatist manner also. So that recently just came out of the U.S. District Court out of Boston this past week.
All right, so I'm not sure I understand about not taking pictures, but you say that it's blocking.
They're blocking our driveway. They're continually trespassing through Wamasett Court. You know, it's a public way. It's privately owned. But Mr. Kazanjian tore down a home several years ago and crouched onto that property 3 or 4 feet. So vehicles can't safely pass through Wamasett Court at my end.
So
The
you-
other end's open by maybe 10 feet more.
So is your complaint tonight that Mr. Kazanjian is blocking your driveway?
Mr. Kazanjian is continually violating his licenses. I have a CD here, but none of these TVs can play it. So I think we need to reschedule.
What is your complaint tonight, sir?
Ongoing license violations.
Now, you've been in front of us several times. This is your first appearance here.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And I have never been able to show my photos here
So
at
this
all.
has been an ongoing situation up there.
Oh, yeah.
So Wamasett Court is not a public highway?
It's privately owned by the abutters, but open to the public. Yet Mr. Kazanjian's encroached on that area at my end so that, you know, any box truck or anything going through there is endangering my safety, anyone's safety that's walking through that public area. You know, he has licenses to operate his businesses inside the fenced-in areas, but I have tow trucks out in the street constantly because of the police towing. It's not the customers coming to pick up their cars, it's the other tow companies coming to get the cars.
So are you saying that the police should not be doing this towing?
Not at this address. Not at this address. If you saw this CD, you wouldn't let them tow anything.
How's the police department see this? Is there some alternative?
Well, we see that Mr. Kazanjian has the proper permits and licenses through the city to operate towing. He he bidded for the tow contract. He was awarded it through the city. And from what I understand, his permits allowed him to tow vehicles. It's a 24-hour operation. We tow cars 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, when there's accidents or other issues involving us, the police notifying for a tow.
And there's clearly no room for the police towing when you have the dumpsters coming in and out constantly. And then you want to add in people coming to get their cars, other tow companies coming to get these cars. The cars that don't run, we have the loader running up and down the street with no one directing any traffic. It's one thing after another. This paper doesn't even come
Excuse me.
close to
Let
stating the
her
issues.
speak, please.
Go ahead.
It's my understanding one of your complaints was that in the middle of the night, there would be the beeping of the backup from the tow trucks.
Yep.
Is that one of your complaints?
Yep.
Another is that your driveway is being blocked.
Continuously.
What else? You can just
We've
list
got
them.
the-
I don't want a
we've-
big story.
We've got
just-
the trucks coming down the street with the engine brake on, making excessive noise. You know, there's no need of it. Coming at my
How
house with
often-
trucks.
How often in the middle of the night do you hear these beeping or the backup?
I think I called the police 33 times last summer.
33 times?
Yeah, you would
last
think
year?
after 10 times that it would kind of settle down, but it seemed to get worse and worse and worse.
Well, I'd like to see the photos on the CD, but I'd also like to hear from Mr. Kazanjian because he came tonight. So I'd like to give him an opportunity to respond to at least some of the things that you've listed.
Sure, I can leave this with you.
Mr. Nguyen, grab the CD. Mr. Kazanjian, do you have anything to say?
I sure do. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Alan Kazanjian, and I am the owner of Kazanjian Used Parts at 705 Dutton Street. That's in the question tonight. This dates back, this problem, probably maybe 10, 11 years ago. It's basically a personal situation between Mr. Sterling and us of a sale of a house that we did not want to buy. That was, at the time, about 3 times the value of what it should have been. And prior to that, Mr. Sterling hasn't called for complaints, and shortly after that, all of a sudden, this all started, and hasn't stopped since. We are in an industrial area where we're able to conduct our business the way we're conducting. It's an industrial site, industrial area, and Mr. Sterling just happens to be living right in the middle of an industrial area. And we're conducting our business properly. We have inspections from, this has been ongoing for, like I said, 10, 11 years, with 3 different city managers, Bernard Lynch, Kevin Murphy, Eileen Donahue, and did thorough inspections, and there was no wrongdoing found. Also, we've gone through 4 separate building commissioners in that time period that also has done thorough searches on this property and through Mr. Sterling on his complaints, and found no wrongdoing at that point in time with 4 different commissioners. And also, I have a letter here from from Commissioner Fuller. I don't know if you received that today, but that he was on a property back on December 5th and found no wrongdoing. I can hand that to you also.
I just have a question on the backing up of the vehicles in the middle of the night. What do you say to that? Is there any way that, if, I know you're towing 24 hours a day, is there any way that that can be curtailed or avoided?
I'm sure we can, instead of backing into the property, they can try to drive in the best they can. Sometimes it's impossible to do that, with whatever situation might be, but, and we instruct our drivers to do that. I mean, so we're trying to work with Mr. Sterling and many of the neighbors in that neighborhood. We get along with all the neighbors. This has just been an ongoing personal matter, like I explained, that Mr. Sterling has been going on since 10, 11 years. And I also have Wanda Reel, who's been working for me for, 20-plus years, and she's the operations manager. She would like to speak on this matter also, because I think it's very important that she runs a day-to-day operation more, and I'm in and out. She's there every day, so she can probably put it, also explain to you what's going on, if you'll allow her.
Just one other question.
Yeah, go ahead, sure, yep.
So approximately how many other houses are there? other than this
There's,
gentleman?
on that area, I own 3 of them. There's Mr. Sterling and one other one there that abuts our property, and we have no complaints from her at all. She abuts our property the same as Mr. Sterling. She hears the same noise, she hears everything, and we don't hear one complaint from her at all. Nothing.
So we'll hear from
Okay.
your manager.
Mr. Kazanjian, one quick question.
Yes.
The backing up, the noise, that's a state law, you have to have that.
You have to have that on the vehicle, yes, absolutely. If you don't, you're in big trouble, yes, yes.
If I might, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
One question. Mr. Kazanjian, just had one question. That's a very narrow street.
Which street is that?
Is it Windsor Court?
We don't drive our vehicles on Warminster Court.
Well, that was my question.
Oh, we don't, no, not at all.
You don't
Not
operate
whatsoever, no, absolutely not.
And his driveway, is that, as you're looking down that street on the left-hand side, next to your fence?
Yes,
Is that his?
that's his driveway, yes, that's correct, yes.
Okay.
And we don't park any of our vehicles even next to Mr. Sterling's house, because we know the problem. We instruct our employees not to even go next to this individual, and believe me when I tell you that, we don't.
Okay. I've seen the properties, and it is a tight area, and it is an industrial area, so, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Wanda Reel, 15 7th Ave West, Lowell. Good evening. My name is Wanda Reel. I am the operational manager for Cassandra's Garage. This matter has been forwarded to you this evening to the License Commission. Has been an ongoing issue for many years. Ever since Mr. Cassandran refused to purchase the residence property for, as Mr. Cassandran explained, for 3 times the value of what it was worth. These individuals are constantly calling the Lowell Police Department for unnecessary calls. We are a 24-hour towing business. We do have customers that do come and, obtain their vehicles. When they do come to get the vehicles, there are times when they may park in the street. Obviously, we have no control with them parking in, on the side of the street because it is a public street. But we do inform, all our employees, not to put any vehicles, not to park the tow trucks anywhere near Mr. Sterling's property. Numerous times, like I said, the police have been called. When the police do come, they do investigate. They don't find anything with wrongdoing. Mr. Sterling numerous times has harassed my employees, coming out in his boxer shorts. To take photograph pictures. I don't think it's fair that my employees are trying, to make a living and doing their job. They're constantly using nasty language, to the employees, which I don't think is, totally called for. Mr. Cassandran is running a business there. I mean, yes, it is. He does, Mr. Sterling does have a house there, but again, like Mr. Cassandran said, it is industrial. We do, operate a 24-hour towing business. We're not denying that. When we do back in the tow truck into the facility, yes, there is a backup alarm. The backup alarm is for safety reasons. It is required that all tow trucks have a backup alarm for safety reasons.
As the manager, do you show up from time to time in the middle of the night to see how the operation's going?
I've been down there plenty of times during the middle of the night. During the day, I go up to the up to the yard. I walk around the property all the time.
Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say that the police have been up there several times. They have nothing to say about what's going on up there. There's no problems. We have the inspector's been up there just recently from the city. There's no problems. I guess I would just like to ask Mr. Kazanjian if you could just make sure that the trucks don't park near his property.
In all honesty, our towing trucks do not park in front of his location at all. Whether or not if another tow truck comes and is looking for an address, or they're going to obtain the vehicle, we even advise them, as a courtesy, that it is a house there. Obvious, there are issues with him and his spouse. We do tell them not to park there.
I understand that, and I know that this has been ongoing on for a long time. I just asked that maybe you could just do whatever you can do to make sure the trucks don't park near his property.
We definitely can, but is this going to resolve the problem? Because this is an ongoing issue all the time.
It's probably not going to resolve the problem, but at least it's a step to make things better, that's all.
Okay.
In addition to that request, I'm not asking anyone to shut off a backup beeper. I know that that's for safety and it's saving lives every day. Just if sometime in the middle of the night, if you can just instruct them not to back up, and then in the morning you can back up and put the cars wherever you want, that would go a long way. As far as solving this, we don't have a magic wand, so.
That is fine. And maybe if we can put a no parking, the city can put a no parking sign in front of Mr. Sterling's house, that might work for whoever is parking there, which, like I said, it's none of our vehicles that are parking there, so. I mean, maybe we can suggest that, and maybe you can suggest that to the city, and they can put a no parking sign in front of Mr. Sterling's house, and maybe that will suffice. We're willing to do whatever we can as a good neighbor, and believe me, we are. We're not perfect, but we do a damn good job for that neighborhood and all our neighbors. We really do.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Captain, can you let us know about a no parking sign?
Yes, I'll follow up with the sign department.
Thank you very much,
Get a
sir.
report for the next meeting.
Mr. Sterling.
I'd like to contradict everything Mr. Kazanjian said. He's not speaking the truth here at all, and that's why that CD needs to be played. So I'd like to see this rescheduled, please. And if I have to bring in a CD and my own equipment, I'll do so. I'd also like to show you a letter dated from 1993, before I even lived there, signed by residents of Wamasett Court regarding Mr. Kazanjian's actions.
Before I got here.
What happened in 1993 is not relevant to what's going on today.
The CD is very relevant to what is going on today, and that needs to be played.
We'll save that. What's the wish of the board? You want to defer it? You want to table it?
No, I'd like to
Put it
make a
on
motion, we
file?
put it on file.
Mr. Chairman, I think we have a letter from the building commissioner dated December 12th. It appears that I saw no issues at this place. I've been by, I've seen no issues. Other members of the board have seen no issues.
There are currently vehicles stored at
Excuse me.
Wamasett Court.
Excuse me. We are working through this.
Okay.
Have a seat.
I think this is going to be an ongoing problem. We'll see the parties, I'm sure, again over time, and the police will be hearing from the parties. I think it's a no-win situation, but the best information we have, and my own eyes have seen that it appears to be well-kept property. I agree with Mr. McCarthy that this matter at this time be placed on file.
So that's a second.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All opposed? Placed on file. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Number 11 on our meeting agenda, we have a hearing on a neighbor's recent complaint to the License Commission discussed at the License Commission meeting on November the 29th, 2018, about junk material stored at the site of the Coelho Fuel, Inc., Francisco Coelho, President, a used car dealer licensee at 493 Princeton Boulevard. The allegations are a violation of the Zoning Board of Appeals conditions stipulated on June 8th, 2009. Is Mr. Coelho here? He was notified to appear this evening.
Yeah, my apologies to Mayor Caulfield that we don't have the other party here.
Oh, no, I'd like to hear from Mr. Caulfield.
Wait. Sure.
Thank you. Edward Caulfield, 589 Princeton Boulevard, Lowell, Massachusetts. Mr. Chairman, members of the License Commission, first of all, Mr. Nguyen, I just want to thank you for your service to the city of Lowell. I'll give you a brief history of Middlesex Village. The town of Chelmsford owned vast amounts of land in the entire region. Matter of fact, they owned a good portion of Lowell. And Middlesex Village was a great part of Chelmsford, and that's exactly what it was. It was a village. It was called Middlesex Village, and it was very, very important to the city of Lowell. In 1874, the town of Chelmsford annexed Middlesex Village to the city of Lowell, and Dracut annexed Pawtuckaville to the city of Lowell in the same year. Middlesex Village is, like I indicated, a very quaint neighborhood, and businesses flourished there in 1800, and businesses flourish in 2018 as well. I am pro-business. I am not anti-business, because if you're not pro-business, communities like Lowell or any other town would not be successful. We have many businesses in Middlesex Village, all through the Middlesex Thoroughfare, Wood Street, Princeton Boulevard, and we're proud to say we have the oldest house in the entire region on Wood Street. It was built in 1674. It's the Bowers House. The people of Middlesex Village are very proud people. They keep their property neat and clean, pay their taxes, and they do go out and vote, believe me. I'm here to discuss the business at 493 Princeton Boulevard. Before Mr. Calico bought the property, it was Marchand Oil. Neat, clean, respectful, and respectful of the neighborhood. I cannot say the same about Mr. Calico. If you turn to the page where the site plan, if you look at that, and read the verbiage, starting with number 8, yes. Proposed work consists of lot striping and landscaping. You can't stripe dirt. Landscaping shall consist of low-growing shrubs and mulch, similar to the existing landscape island at the intersection of Baldwin Street and Princeton Boulevard. Shrubs shall not impact vehicular sight distance. I want you to stress this. Vehicular sight distance. As you see the plan, once the License Commission granted the license for Mr. Calico to sell 5 cars, he did not have the 5 cars where it says on the site plan. The 5 cars were at the corner of Baldwin Street, in violation of the stipulation handed down by the License Commission. So I called the chairman of the License Commission, Mr. Dakota, and he promptly went down to the business and told him he had to move the cars. So, where does Mr. Calico plow all the snow in the winter? He can't. The entire property is lewd and strewed with dilapidated vehicles. They haven't moved in years. They just sit there. So he can't plow the snow. Where does he put the snow? In some instances, the snow is 6 to 7 feet high. He puts it right on the corner of Baldwin Street, where any motorist who wants to take a right on a red light cannot see any vehicles coming down Princeton Boulevard. Now, if you turn to the violations that was returned by the Lowell City Inspector, Sean Machado. Unregistered vehicles and trailers, including but not limited to red plow truck, black Honda, white van, white pickup truck, white box truck, black trailer, yellow trailer, removed within 24 hours. Failure to do so will result in a $300 fine per day per vehicle. That was written in January 6th of 2017. And you know what? The conditions at this business are even worse today. They're worse. And if you could get down, vehicles parked in a setback of lot line, vehicles must be parked 3 feet from the lot line, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. On the back page, open lot storage of junk, scrap junk vehicles, and other similar salvage articles are not allowed in the traditional single-family zone. That hasn't changed. Dismantling or wrecking of used motor vehicles and storage and sale of parts are not allowed. Traditional single-family zone. Stop the use within 24 hours. Operation of a contractor garage. Contractor garages are not allowed in a traditional single-family zone. Stop the use with, nothing has been addressed. Nothing. And I don't know who is watching the hen house. Who's responsible? I know the License Commission has much strength and authority. You can certainly grant the license, and you have the authority to cease that license. Now, if you turn to the other pages that I presented to you, I'll briefly read some of these paragraphs. The first paragraph, License Commission regulations governing requirements for license for second-hand motor vehicles, used car dealers, Class 2 is defined in Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 58. License shall maintain clean lot free of junk motor vehicles or parts. That is not happening. Used automotive oil and fluids shall be disposed of all in compliance. I have no say on that because I think Mr. Calico knows he cannot disperse oil or any hazardous substance. The Lowell Code of Ordinance, Chapter 185, 185-1, junk and secondhand dealers, the Lowell License Commission may, upon petition, license such persons as it deems suitable to be dealers in junk. That, I don't know if that exists, but on the next page, I want to pay exceptional attention to this paragraph. A variety of vehicles were observed on the site without license plates and in various states of disrepair. There's a red Ford pickup truck with a plow on it. It hasn't been started, it hasn't been moved in 3 years. Matter of fact, there's all kinds of weeds and bushes growing out of it. And if you went up to that property, you will see other vehicles that are in total disrepair. The property is being used as a storage yard for junk. There's no other way of putting it. What appears to be a power loader was observed on the premises in a rusted condition, propped up on a wooden block and in a state of disrepair. A rusty cherry picker truck was also observed in a state of disrepair and blocking a free traffic area. The vehicles observed did not appear either operational or offered to the public for sale. That was issued 2 years ago, January 11, 2017. Members of the License Commission, I've gone before the entire City Council. I've gone before the City Council Neighborhood Subcommittee. We had a huge meeting up at the Temple on Forest Street. Manager Murphy went down and visited the site and at that meeting that I had with the City Council, I was more or less shunned on. I was the problem, and Mr. Calico was a victim. Manager Murphy toured the site a year ago, and the first things out of his mouth was, This is a junkyard. This is a disgrace. But yet nothing has been done. Nothing. And let me tell you this. The people in that neighborhood, some of the abutters to that property are paying $3,600 a year in taxes. If I was one of them, I'd be at the assessor's office screaming for a rebate. Now, the crux of the whole problem is Mr. Calico thinks he can do anything he wants and when he wants. He doesn't go by the rules and regulations, and he's not going to continue to. And my last resort is this License Commission. I'm asking you, I'm begging you, for the sake of the people that live in Middlesex Village that was annexed to Lowell in 1874, please do something. I want to stress, I am not an anti-business person. When I was on the city council for 24 years, I was the first one to support a business, as long as they lived by the rules and regulations. And when they didn't, they hurt me. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This business would not exist 1 week in Centerville with Anne Marie Page. This business would not exist in Pawtuckaville with Deb Fugione. And I know it wouldn't exist a day in Belvedere. And it shouldn't continue to exist under these conditions. Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Caulfield, what type of business is he running there? Because I tried to look him up on the Secretary of State's website. It's not a corporation. I was just trying to figure out what his purpose was. What is he doing there? I know he's allegedly selling used cars, and then he's got a sign that says fuel and repair. Is he selling fuel, and is he repairing vehicles?
Originally, when he purchased the property, there was gas pumps there. And that's a long story as well. When he took out the gas pumps, he brought in 40 yards of dirty fill, and the fill stood on the site for 6 months. People couldn't have a cookout. The fill was just blowing throughout the neighborhood. And what he tried to do, when he jackhammered up all the cement, he was going to try to save that and use that as fill. And the fire department stopped him. He does sometimes light and heavy mechanical work. But what he does is he has so many vehicles stored there. There's no room for anything else. So if he's working on a truck, it could be parked on the corner of Baldwin Street. It could be down on Princeton Boulevard. He has tractor trailers coming in there all the time.
And I saw the tractor trailers today. What are they doing there? Is that repairs?
I really don't know.
Because I counted
He
over.
was in the landscaping business, and some of those vehicles are part of an old landscaping company that I guess he once owned. And when I went before the city council, I asked about the red Ford pickup truck with a plow. And please don't laugh. But it was said to me by a city official, well, he's going to use that to grade off the property so he can hot top it. There's no line striping. There's no hot top. It's a business in total disarray. And the people in Middlesex Village don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And,
I'd like to thank you for coming down here.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Caulfield, I appreciate you coming in. And I grew up not far from that corner. And I know, and I remember the oil business that was there, and it was always well-maintained. This man has expanded the business, and when I became aware of some issues, I took a ride by. That was a couple of weeks ago. Well, before the last meeting we had. Took a ride by, and the place was in disarray. There's equipment all over the lot. It's not being maintained, as I see somewhere that he should be providing shrubberies. I didn't see any landscape to it, and I noticed a number of cars that were without plates that were there. I went back again on Tuesday. It's the same condition. And tonight, Mr. Colo is not present, so I'm assuming that he's waiving his right to a hearing. And I am not in favor of just a pro forma issuance of a renewal of a used car permit if someone is in violation. I know we received something from Inspectional Services just today. It doesn't have any major noted problems with the lot, although it appears that maybe between Tuesday morning when I went by and today, there was some cleanup. But as I said, I noticed other
Someone has indicated there's been some cleanup?
well, I'm looking at pictures today that were taken today by Planning and Development Office, and it appears that from these pictures, it's not the same as what I saw the other day. But this is, it's still, I saw a number of, on Tuesday morning, I saw a place that was in disarray. And as I say, and I will just ask the law department for an opinion, but I don't think that we have to just pro forma approve a license as we do for so many other used car dealerships. And I think that would be what I'm planning on doing, but I'll give the other commissioners an opportunity to say anything.
If permit me to say this, I don't want to see the man lose his business. I want him to be successful. But you can't run a business and have a junkyard at the same time. And that's what's happening. There's equipment back there that will never, ever see the road again. And the people in my neighborhood shouldn't have to look at that. There's a woman who is in a butter. She pays $3,600 a year in taxes, and we all know the taxes are going to rise again. She shouldn't have to look out her window and look at that, because when she purchased the house, Marchand Oil was there. This man came in, and I'm going to tell you, this business makes Tanner Street look like Newbury Street in Boston. That's as clear as I can put it.
I have a question, through the chairman to the solicitor. If we made a motion to revoke the license for the used cars, but the gentleman is not here, so I'd be concerned about that issue. So I'm asking you if...
Yeah, I would, in my opinion, it would be very advisable for the commission to make sure that the property owner has an opportunity to be heard. I think that would be the best way to proceed.
Right, I thought that would be the case, because I drove by there at 3:30 this afternoon, and the place is really a disgrace. I counted over 25 vehicles, and I definitely feel that even if he comes in, if and when he comes in and he testifies, the evidence is that he doesn't have a clean lot free of junk motor vehicles, so he's violating the license. So I'd like him to, if he doesn't show up, he needs to be subpoenaed.
Mr. McCarthy, you have any questions for?
No, I agree with Ms. Howe. This gentleman has been, we got a letter from the city here.
Okay, but I want to give the mayor a chance to sit down. I have one last question. I think I have one last question, and that is there any discussion of leaking underground storage tanks here?
Excuse me?
Leaking underground storage tanks?
Mr. Calico, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, he removed all those tanks.
Okay, good.
And
Thank you.
I've been hearing rumors out there that he's trying to sell the business. And I don't know how that's going, but the issue is, let him, I don't care if he sells 5 cars. That's not my problem. My problem is the entire piece of property is an eyesore.
I understand.
That's the issue.
Thank you. Before we go forward, further in discussion, the question of discrepancies going back to January 2017 came up about fines. Do we have anyone who knows whether or not fines were levied? Because apparently these were not cleaned up. Can we find out if the fines were levied and collected?
Well, if I may, Commissioner Krieger,
Quickly.
those fines are at the discretion of the building commissioner. At the time, I believe the commissioner was Sean Shanahan.
Got that. But were they levied? Were they collected? Can we find
I
that
don't know
out?
whether they were collected, but it was, in
Can we find that out?
probability is that they were not collected.
We
But
need
I
to know
have
that.
no record of that.
We need to know the answer to that.
Well, if I can just interject one thing, Commissioner Krieger.
Quickly.
And I defer to the city solicitor on the matter as well. The focus that we are dealing with all due respect to Mayor Caulfield, is Coelho Fuel Inc. has a used car dealer license for 5 vehicles granted by the Lowell License Commission as a result of the Zoning Board of Appeals special permit,
Right.
subject to the conditions of the Zoning Board of Appeals, which is what the licensing authority is obliged to adhere to, not to suggest that you could now change the 5 vehicles to 10 vehicles or 15 vehicles. It's 5 vehicles for a certain specific site on that lot. For everything that you've heard, it appears that Mr. Coelho has failed to abide by the zoning board's conditions.
Yes?
So on that condition alone, it doesn't, to me, for the sake of the board's action this evening, is not to renew the license for 2019. And if Mr. Coelho is so inclined to want to seek that license for 2019, he's more than welcome to apply for a new license, because the zoning board's actions is still current. And he could apply for a new license after the first of the year and come before the License Commission and answer to all of the allegations, presumably factual
But
violations.
you're trying to push us in a direction.
I'm suggesting that Mr. Coelho
Yes.
be not permitted to renew his license
I got
as it is, and then if he...
Got it. Mr. McCarthy, I cut you off.
Well, I'm going back to January 11th of 17, and the Inspectional Services has a letter here asking us to do something about this, and it lists all the problems they have up there, and this gentleman doesn't even show up for the meeting. I would recommend that we suspend his license immediately till he shows up here and just tell us what he's gonna do to clean up this property.
Anybody else have any thoughts?
Well, I am in agreement with Mr. McCarthy, but counsel, you're indicating that the letter that was sent by Mr. Nguyen notifying him of this hearing may not be adequate, and we should give him another shot at the apple, which means that, well, number one, I'm not inclined to renew a 2019 license under the terms that are set down. And that I see as our only action that we can take, is not allowing him to sell used cars.
Correct.
Okay,
And I'm inclined to feel that he's waived his right to the hearing or to be heard by this board. But I'd listen to you, counsel.
Mr. Counsel.
I see my job as making whatever action that the License Commission takes as legally sustainable as possible, as strong as possible. And I will tell you, in my experience, that decisions of such boards and commissions are often attacked on notice, on a notice basis. So, in my opinion, in order to make what the commission does as strong legally as possible, we should make sure that the property owner has an opportunity to be heard. I think that is the more, the safer, more conservative approach to take, in my opinion.
And
All right, so we
I agree with
face
that.
two options. One is don't renew the license. The other option is renew the license and ask the license holder to come in, at which time we can decide whether or not to cancel the license after a hearing.
Mr. Commissioner Krieger, under statute, Chapter 140, Section 58, 59, the board, the licensing authority, has discretion on renewing of licenses. If there is failure to comply with the conditions of the License Commission, let alone the conditions of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Mr. Coelho was given proper notice to appear tonight for the License Commission meeting. He knows when he wants to renew the license. When I send him notice to renew, he comes in and renews. When he sent notice to appear before the License Commission, he received that notice. This commission, if he wishes to renew, will have to appear before you. It's my recommendation.
Okay,
When does he renew? When is the renewal up?
He has no guarantee to renew. It's not a
What's the
right to.
date?
What's the date for his renewal?
The current license expires January 1st, 2019.
Okay, can we get him in here for our next meeting?
My suggestion to this commission, since he was already given notice, if I may, since when he can't renew come January 2nd, he will come to the next meeting.
I agree with the solicitor. I think that we should notify him, and maybe we should have a return receipt that he received the letter
Okay,
for the next meeting,
fair enough.
and so we can talk to him. That's my suggestion. I don't know.
is that part of that, we not renew his license on January 1st or January 2nd?
Well, I'm waiting for a motion.
We could
I'd
make-
like a motion to either not renew or a motion to kick it down the road and hold a meeting. Would you
I'll-
like to make a motion?
I will make a motion that at the time of renewal, this board does not renew the license and request that this gentleman come in at the next available meeting to be heard.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in
I'm so-
favor?
I'm-
You will
just-
have a discussion.
Just for the
Go ahead.
record, though, Mr. McCarthy did make a motion that, are you withdrawing that one
I didn't think he made a motion.
to revoke it immediately?
There wasn't a second.
Okay.
No
Okay.
second.
Discussion.
Thank you.
Any discussion on letting it expire on the 1st of January?
Well, the only thing is what we've said before, that this gentleman's violating his license by maintaining the junk vehicles on there, and it's a clear violation, so we're not going to renew it.
And we'll see him on the 10th to give him an opportunity to be heard. I'm sorry. We'll see him on the 10th.
So if he files his renewal application, before it's issued, he will have to appear before the License Commission.
Yes.
That would
Is
be what
it,
the
is
motion
it,
says, yes.
is it incumbent upon the License Board Secretary to notify him to renew?
I would think the courtesy would require
There is
that.
always the courtesy, Commissioner Krieger, is always the courtesy.
Thank you. I think that solved that issue.
Mr. Chairman, can we just explain this one more time now, what we're doing here?
Yes, the motion as it has been presented is that we do not renew the license and it expires on the 1st of January, and we invite the license holder to come in and to lay out the situation for us to renew it on or about the 10th of January.
10th.
January 10th?
That's the first meeting.
That's within 2 days of the 10th of January.
And I seconded that. Okay.
All right.
Sorry,
Any
that was
more
Commissioner Howe's
discussion?
motion, seconded by Commissioner Donahue.
Yes. I'm sorry, who did you say made the motion?
Commissioner Howe, seconded by
Perfect.
Commissioner Donahue.
Thank you.
Roll call.
You want a roll call?
Well, or
All in
vote?
favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for bringing this
If
to
you
our attention.
would permit me just a few closing statements. The license to sell the 5 cars is one issue. The other issue of all the junk, dilapidated equipment and so forth, that falls on the purview of the city, the inspectional services. They should be doing something about that, even if he didn't have a license to sell cars.
I agree with you 100%. I would recommend the Paul Songas solution.
But that said,
Send someone in
Merry
to clean
Christmas
it
to
up and
everyone.
then send them the bill.
Yes, go ahead. No, that's okay, that's okay. Thank you.
Because that's
God
what
bless.
happened to my neighbor 2 doors down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caulfield.
And Mr. Nguyen, I might say, the License Commission does a fantastic job, and you are the soul of that commission, believe me.
You're not running for office.
The soul.
Make a motion that we adjourn?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Commissioner Krieger, don't adjourn just yet,
Go ahead, okay.
please.
Go ahead.
Just with all due respect, I would just ask, just to point out one last item on our meeting agenda for withdrawal's sake. The application had been filed by a corporate entity known as 255 Club, Inc. The attorney representing the entity was an entity that's a business corporation, but under the circumstances, it's, the client for the attorney indicates that he would prefer to keep it as a club license. So this is to do with the Gaelic American Club, Inc., and he wishes to retain a club license for the premises at 255, 265 Chelmsford Street, rather than a change to a restaurant. So under the circumstances, the attorney is withdrawing this application to be refiled after the first of the year for a transfer of license from the club, Gaelic Club, Inc., to another entity, which would be a nonprofit organization.
And we will get a chance to address that?
Yes.
We will get a chance to address that?
Presumably, if the file the application for the transfer under the nonprofit.
Okay, let's go through this kabuki one more time for adjournment.
Make a motion that we adjourn?
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.